So I wanted to talk a little bit today about transition. Not the first time I've talked about it. I wanted to reflect a little bit on my own transition. My first job in the fitness industry was in 1990, and I was a floor trainer. Actually, before that, for about 6 months, I cleaned equipment in the club in order to keep my membership. And I was given an opportunity after that. So in January of 1990, I became a floor trainer, and that was the beginning of my career. And I think about the transition from being a workout person that enjoyed what I did and did bodybuilding shows, and people started asking me for help, not because I was a great bodybuilder, but because I was a great technician of what needed to be done to make change. And, transitioning into working at a club and realizing that none of those people were bodybuilders, and so the things that I knew and the things that I was good at didn't really equate to what those people needed. And so I had to transition into a trainer that taught people how to get better, how to change the way they looked at working out. I think of working out as an art form, sort of like yoga. It's just a art that allows people to make gains. And I believe in teaching the art. Uh, and I'm going to fast forward past managing and all of that stuff into where I am now. So I'm 62 years old, and I'm in a position now of transition. So I'm transitioning out of the day to day, 8 or 10 appointments on the floor to, not that many appointments anymore, and learning how to be an owner. And part of what prompted me to actually want to start this Facebook group and to start to do consulting work was because of what it was like to be going from a trainer to owning my own business. And so for most of the time, I was just an employee of the business. I carried the load. I did the most appointments, blah, blah, blah. And then I did all the other stuff around that too. And I had great people around me that helped me. But for the most part, I was still an employee. And so now I have to transition into being an owner. And I think that for most people that, are coming from the training world that want to, get bricks and mortar or something greater than that, you have to understand that at some point you want to work past being an employee, that other people carry the load. And that's been hard for me. It's been hard for me to relinquish the reins, to let other people run the business, to let other people be the ones that that the clientele actually come in for. People know that I'm the owner, but the accolades that I got from being a trainer, I don't get anymore. And that has been difficult. And so trying to find a new avenue or recreate myself has been a bit of a transition. And so as you think about going to that next place, one of the things to realize is that there's greater things to do. All the things that made you a good trainer or a great trainer, if you go into business owning, you're going to have to recreate yourself and learn how to be a great owner, which takes time. There's a lot to learn. Even when I was managing, I thought I managed like an owner. Well, when I became an owner, there was this big epiphany of like, okay, that's a whole nother ball game. Because at the end of the day, the bottom line is you. You're the last stop. Whether the money has to come, whether the decision has to be made, it's on your bill. And so understanding that makes a big difference in how you accomplish going forward. And so I want people to understand that, the whole idea behind this group is to help us make better decisions as we go forward, to not spend so much time dwelling where we are, but looking at how we go forward. I know for me, I feel like at this point in my life, I want to help people fast forward as opposed to taking the time that it took me to get to this point. I had people trying to tell me what to do, but I didn't know how to experience it. And so often, I think it's the conversation at the dinner table that helps people to go forward. And so, if you're not having that conversation about how you go forward, what kind of things do you need to do? How can you make your business better? How do you become a better business person? That keeps us from going forward. And I think in the Black community, it's hard to have those conversations because a lot of times the people around us don't know what that feels like. So many of us have been employees our entire time. And so understanding what ownership looks like, letting go of the reins, letting someone else take care of things so that you can learn how to be the owner, the person that drives the business instead of the person that does the most work in it. will make a big difference in your ability to go forward and the ability um, to actually rise above being an employee. And so I leave you with that right now, but we'll be back to talk about transition and what it means to become the person that makes the decisions as opposed to the person that follows them out.